Hello, everyone. Welcome to more 15 minutes of relevant topics and subjects with your host, Joseph Brownlee, Body of Christ, Real Talk. Welcome. God bless you all. Grace and peace be with you all. Thank you for listening to the show. My journey has not always been the journey that I'm on now. My journey of health. I used to just be focused on the weight loss, but it has changed to health now because what's going on around us in the healthcare world and the health system and different things like that, and how the Food and Drug Administration, the CDC, and people like that, and NIH and the World Health Organization, and the government, of course, around the world, especially here in the US of A. And I'm gonna focus on the US of A because I got a real bad mad pet peeve with the United States of America. Has been killing us slowly but surely. Most of the time, I'm not going to say most, but I believe a lot of the time, I don't want to blame every individual that works for these so-called companies. But the goal of these companies is to keep us unhealthy, to keep us sick. Believe it or not, people been evil like that for thousands of years. This is nothing new. There are evil people out there would do anything for the love of money, which is the root of all evil, the love of money. It's been like that for thousands and thousands of years. The love of money is still the root of all evil, even in the healthcare system, you know. And people would do just about anything, and I mean it's literally, for money. They'll sell out their own family. People kill their own parents and they kill in-laws and mothers and grandmas for inheritance because of the love of money, greed. And you look at this here in the US of A and our healthcare system, one of the most wealthiest countries on the planet, the United States of America. But we still have some of the most sickest people. Have some of the best doctors, some of the best hospitals, but still have some of the sickest people. Just thinking about that, I don't care what you try to say, well, my doctor take care of me, they give me this. I'm not knocking all doctors. Hear me out. I'm not saying all doctors are bad. And this series is not about beating up doctors. But what I will be knocking doctors for is not doing their own research and telling their patients the truth of what's really going on. Because from what I heard, most doctors have not been trained in nutrition. They've been trained in medicine. They've been not trained in preventive nutrition. They've been trained how to patch you up, how to slow something down when it starts, not preventive medicine. You see the difference, like holistic doctors or metabolic doctors, that's out there today and that's growing today. And they don't have a lot of faith or trust, or they told not to have a faith or trust or something. I don't know what it is. And food. That's the natural healing for our bodies is food. And it's a lot going on. But let me just tell you about my journey before I get into a lot of other things because I don't have much time. 15-minute increments. And I will be talking about other things. I'm not going to do this every night. I will be talking about, keep you updated on reaction things that I react to and, just a conversation about other different things, topics and subjects as well. But I will be doing not a real lengthy because it's only 15 minutes long about information about my health and how you can better your health. And I left off the last podcast saying this. If you are struggling with your weight, let's talk about the weight first. And you are obese and you're overweight. And you're struggling with your weight, and anytime, most of the time, most of the overweight people, not all, but the majority of overweight people got some other issues because of their weight and stuff like that, including myself back then. The ailments and the pains. And then I'm not saying I had a lot of pains like a lot of other people. I never had to have surgery or nothing like that, thank God. And, you know, but the ailments I did suffer with, was because of my weight. And my weight issues was because what I was consuming, the food I was consuming, is why I was overweight. I can't blame it on nothing else but the food I was consuming. Because you just don't get fat. You can call it genes all you want to. Part of it, like I was listening to Sean Baker, who's been doing the no-carb carnivore for over 8 years, said it very interesting when I listened to his podcast. Most of the stuff is not genetic. It is not genetic. It might be, in a sense, genetic, for us. We followed that cycle of the way our parents ate or even drank or drugs or whatever like that. Yes, some of that is true. But the thing is, we don't have to follow that track. We don't have to do that. We can break away for those so-called gene cycles, But the thing is, let me just say this. I don't blame my mom. I don't blame my dad, for my health issues or for me being overweight, because we all grew up in ignorance. I was born in 1964, June 3rd, 1964. And I don't blame my granddad, I don't blame my grandma of what they fed us, because that's what we was told to eat. It wasn't a lot of, I don't remember hearing a lot of information on nutritional values until later on down the line when they start putting it on cereal boxes, how good and vitamins and stuff like that. I know that all that is fake and false advertisement. Now I know that. Ain't no Cheerios or let alone Fruit Loops got nutritional values in it. It's all processed, ultra processed food. It's bad. That's why you look on the side of the box and you see all kind of names you can't even pronounce. And usually if you can't pronounce it, it ain't no good. You don't even know what it is. They make some of these names up. Dr. Sean Baker made another point. Even if you are making bread at home, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be much healthier than you buy from the store. Why? Because you ain't putting all that other crazy name stuff in your bread. You put natural stuff in your bread, whatever it is. I don't know how to make bread, but I'm just using that as an example. You're not getting all those crazy preservatives and all those additives and all those sugars and added sugars and all those dyes that they put in certain stuff if you make it at home yourself. See? The industry puts a lot of stuff to make it taste good. Here in America, we live by taste, not so much by health. We live by taste. We think about health later. Not everybody, but we think about health later. We like taste. So let me digress. I don't blame my mom, dad, and grandma or anybody like that in my family because what we ate. We was all coerced to eat that way. We was guided by the American Standard Diet. See? And even back then, and before then, but I'm just talking about my time, you might be older, you might be younger. That's a whole different dance. But like I said, I was born in 1964, and the dietary standards that we went by and the food that I consumed, I'm not saying it was good, but it wasn't as bad as it is now because as the years went by, they add more stuff and they water down more things today, even water. I never thought it'd be a time that you have to buy water because they destroy the water. Yes, that's why they sell bottled water with fluoride in it, which I hear is bad. And we cannot get away from it. I don't care what type of water you buy, you think it's pure unless you get a little the smaller businesses and stuff like that, which is they're around there. You go to them personally, which they water themselves. If you buy it for big conglomerate water companies or food companies, they put all kind of stuff in it, even water with fluoride and whatever else stuff they got in it. Wonder where you're looking at a bottle of water and saying all that stuff they put in water. It's supposed to be water. Anything you start adding in it, it ceases to be water. It's water, processed water. You see what I'm saying? I don't care what type of water it is. When they added other things, additives to it, I'm not saying it's all bad, but most of it ain't good. And fluoride, it ceased to be just regular water. But they give it spring water and give it a name. You see what I'm saying? It's the same with bread, cakes, pastries, meats, and different things like that. When you in eggs and whatever it is. That's what we and myself had to deal with. That's what I had to deal with over my 59 years of consuming in my body ultra processed food. Not processed food, because things have to be processed. Meats to make ground beef. It's not so much the processed food, it's the ultra processed, which many people, and including myself, I like what I got this from called the Franken food. They create something out of nothing. You know, they use different type of chemicals and all kind of stuff to make something. It's not even close to being natural. See, it ain't like you made a homemade cake at home yourself like mom and grandmas used to do. Even make their own icing. But when they start making it in companies and different things like that, they start putting the ultra and all kind of stuff in there to make it taste good. So it'll market well. It was this series, I think, of Brazil that I was looking at. How they make the ham so pink. They put this type of salt up in there and makes the ham pink. And they wasn't shy about why they done that. They done it because it'll make it sell. Because it won't sell as much if people look at gray ham. And that's true. So we caught up on looks. Looking good is best. See? But back then, growing up, the focus wasn't so much on my health and different things like that. Not as much. I don't remember mom and dad teaching me about health and stuff like that. I heard that don't eat too much candy. You might get cavities. Cavities was a big thing and everything like that. And different, you heard different things. Don't eat too much of this. Yeah, I did hear stuff like that, but it wasn't forced. We still ate ice cream. Mom made a lot of homemade ice cream, which I love, and I still love it today. But I can't eat it. You can't buy homemade ice cream. Wow. How in the world you can call a store-made ice cream homemade? Because it was not made at home. Most of it was made in some type of factory, manufacturing company. Now, if you got a mom and pop store that make it right, whatever, that's homemade. Now, homemade to me is when it's made in your own home by your mom or your grandma. And they put their ingredients in, and they might use other ingredients, but, families tuck ingredients from each other's menus. That's homemade to me. So I don't care if you're looking at Bluebell or Briars. That's not homemade because it's not made in your home. So other things are added to it that's not good for us. You understand what I'm saying? Compared to the homemade ice cream we used to make in mom used to make in the old machines, and we used to like to lick the buckets and stuff like that and lick all that stuff and the yellow, oh man, I'm getting hungry just thinking about that. Make your mouth watery. Homemade ice cream made with ice. That's homemade. And I want to be getting into a lot of that stuff. You think about, we was much healthier than when we was younger, of course, especially if you was like the late baby boomers or even the early baby boomers. And the challenges that the Generation Z have to go through today, because they don't know nothing about that. They just know what was made today. And that's the sad thing. So they wouldn't know what I was talking about. What I'm talking about now is no interest to them, most of them. But for the baby boomers and the Generation X people and stuff like that and before, you know what I'm talking about. You would be able to have a story of how things used to be. Generation Z, what they call it today, will not, especially when it comes to food. Okay? Let's talk about that more in the next couple of episodes of Real Talk, Health Talk with Joseph Brownie. Peace out.